Good morning. We're going to do a little video this morning from the MisChief gallery and just highlight a few of the MisChief dolls that are currently on display at the gallery. There are approximately 80 some dolls on display right now between the art gallery section that I'm going to show you now, or in my artist studio. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, I have a few Game of Thrones dolls, like this one here. And something from one of my little favorite sci-fi movies, Predator. There you can see the Predator hunter mask. And this is a little steampunk with some dragons on it. This is a beautiful doll made out of Turkish leather. The Vampire's Masquerade Ball. We'll tell a story about that one later. I did make the Vampire Lestat for Anne Rice while she was still alive for a book signing that she did with a friend of mine, TV producer J.C. Patterson. And so this is a doll that just kind of celebrates the Vampire's Masquerade Ball, which is a group of Anne Rice's fans who have a ball in New Orleans every year. You'll see we have some very cool things on there, like the Volturi symbol from the Twilight movies, also a little something from the originals. Then we have some Gothic girls up here. There's a few of the Gothic girls made out of costume silk. And Wild Thing. She's a wild thing made out of Turkish leather. And some various steampunk dolls. Here are a few more of the steampunk creations. And a few more up there. All of those made out of fine silks and Turkish leathers. Down here on the floor is one of my latest creations. She's a little flower fairy. And we have some tribal pieces made out of vintage sari silk. And another Game of Thrones doll with dragons. And now we get into some of the Louisiana pieces. These are some very nice girls here made out of Turkish leathers. This is one of my favorites here. I love the little accents. This is vintage Chico's jewelry. It's a little alligator with a bead body. And there's a pin. All of these can be found in my Etsy shop at www.mgcreations.etsy.com. I'm sorry. Let's do that again. www.mgmischiefcreations.etsy.com. And this is the most looked at, or the most viewed doll on Etsy right now, Crystal Visions. She's a little Stevie Nicks. She's made out of vintage sari silk. It's hand beaded. And some of my flower dolls, flower fairies, made out of heavy silk from China. And another fairy. And something a little Mardi Gras. And we're going to swing over to another Mardi Gras doll here. MisChief dolls started in 1997. They are dolls with a Mardi Gras flair that celebrate the people and culture of Louisiana with a big throw me something Mr. Mouse. And this is my most expensive doll here right now. She's made out of Turkish leather. And this is all hand beaded leather. It's a little steampunk girl. Little steampunk beads. And one of my newest creations made out of Turkish leather with a new hair design that I just started doing recently. And let's see, up there we have Marie Laveau. And next to her, Miss Beautiful. And next to her, that is Queen Musette from the Blues Brothers 2000 movie. And this one is reminiscent of my friend Voodoo Priestess Cinnamon Black, who you will find at the Voodoo Museum in the French Quarter. Cinnamon is a New Orleans icon. She is also a Mardi Gras Indian and a New Orleans baby doll, in addition to being a Voodoo Priestess. That's Cyndi Lauper and a little pixie. And one of my favorites. This is my Mayan doll. She's made out of vintage sari silk with a leather skirt. The leather's from Istanbul. And she's got some very neat hair. One of my favorite movies, Apocalypto, by Mel Gibson, is what her hair is fashioned after. And she's got some very unique items. She's got some museum reproduction items here. She's actually got a Tyrona bird bell, little bird bell there, and an Incan piece that's a reproduction item from Alva. They're both 24 karat gold plate. And here's another little Mayan girl. And we go over here to a really neat doll. This one is actually signed by the cast members of the History Channel Swamp People, Terrell Evans and Johnny Panks. Terrell Evans is still on Swamp People. He's also done some things for Discovery Channel in Australia. He hunted crocodiles there for them. And another little Mayan girl. And another little girl that's made out of kimono silk. And let's see, let's move over here. I have a few more. This is one of my newer dolls fashioned from Italian leather. Something a little steampunk. And this is one of the dolls that actually has real crocodile on it. So the leather she's made out of is leather from Istanbul. And this is a piece of purple dyed crocodile right there. She also has it running down her back. And we have something a little bit Mardi Gras. So there you have some of the dolls that are currently on display here at the MisChief Gallery. And if we go to the back of the building, you'll see my artist studio where the dolls are actually made. So let's just take a walk back there. Here's some pottery from my friend Kelly Hamill on this back wall. And we have some great artist paintings here on slate by some of my favorite artists. They're very beautiful, very New Orleans, very beautiful watercolor prints. I love these slate paintings, so they're absolutely gorgeous. And if you go to this back corner, you'll see the MisChief Gallery artist studio. And let's just go back there and look at one of the dolls that's back there. And then I'll do some other videos down the road and we'll tell you some neat stories about some of these dolls. But here in the artist studio, you can actually walk in and take a look at the feathers and the leather and the sari silks that the dolls are made out of, along with some little nostalgia of things I've done for various people. Angela Hill, one of our television anchors, used to use my dolls in her Saints preview every Thursday night. Here's something from one of the universities. And Lally Brennan at Commander's Palace has one of my dolls. I got this lovely card from Lally. This is a very nice doll. We should tell you the story about. This doll is one of my almost 5-foot dolls. She's about 4.5 feet, almost as big as I am. I'm 5'2". She is from the year 2004-ish. MisChief Bubbling Spirits, the Queen of Bubbling Spirits with grapes for hair. My grape head dolls were originally made for Bacchus. This particular doll was made for Patricia Ogden and John DeMarco, who owned the Interview with the Vampire House on 7th Street in the Garden District. And she's resided in that house for many, many, many years. This last year, they decided to sell the house and move back to New York. And I had the opportunity to bring her back to the studio. They have 3 big dolls, and this was one of the 3. They also have around 360 other MisChief dolls, small size ones, but this one has been sold, and she is actually headed to Dallas to live with my friends Brett and Wendy Ocampo. Brett has been waiting for years for me to make another large doll, and I just don't make them anymore, so he has bought this one, and they'll be coming over here to Slidell to pick it up. Here are a few more dolls that are done. And some of the leather, you can come back here and see the leather. This is Joan of Arc, inspired by my friend Margarita Bergden, who is the queen of the crew of Joan of Arc several years back. I used to show dogs many years ago, and this was one of my favorite dresses by designer Carol Little. And it was one of those things I couldn't part with, so I made a MisChief doll out of it. This will go to show you what you can do with your old Mardi Gras costumes. You're not going to keep them, you give them to the Goodwill, you put them in the attic, you never wear them again. Have a MisChief doll made out of it and sit it right next to your picture of yourself in your costume. It's a great memento. I have a few Christmas dolls. These were made right before we got shut down for COVID in the French Quarter location, and so I still have them because we were kind of dormant after COVID for a while. And here are a few more that are done, and here are some dolls that are waiting to have their hair added. Some of them made from vintage silks, and some of them made from a combination of vintage silk and leather. These are all leathers from Istanbul. A little Mayan girl over here. And another one. And here's a little headless doll waiting to have some hair put on. And this little guy, is a little girl, is kind of fun. This is Jennifer Flowers. This is made for Jennifer Flowers, who owns the Kelsto Club in New Orleans. And she's going to be heading to the French Quarter to live with Jennifer real soon. Jennifer's signature drink at her club is called Pink Luscious Lips. So we found some beautiful lips here that are added to her waistband. So she's going to be leaving the gallery pretty soon. And these are just a few of the little ceramic items that I kind of dabble in ceramics. My workspace over here has a new doll on it that I'm in the process of putting a face on right now. So she's just having her face built. She's made out of vintage sari silk. And here's some others that are kind of in process right now. So I have a full table right now. So that's just a quick look at the MisChief gallery. The dolls started in 1997, and I quit for 9.5 years after Katrina, and then restarted again in 2014. So there was a little hiatus there, but that's just a little background. And we'll be doing some more videos to tell you some of the stories about some of the fun things that I've had an opportunity to do. I've done a lot of television shows. I've had a lot of magazine articles written about me. And I've done some very interesting things, like a doll that I made for Nick Saban the May before they won the championship at LSU. There's a nice card from him. Fun little stories about the dolls I did for Baghdad. Mardi Gras in Baghdad, Iraq at Camp Souther Air Base. That was the commander of the air base. The chaplain was the captain of the crew, and one of the Air Force personnel who was the queen. So we have some other fun things. So there's some stories that we're going to tell. But right now I just wanted to give you an overview of the MisChief gallery. Let you see it. Let you see some of the dolls. And we'll go from there. Please check back with us. Thank you. And if you're in Slidell, Louisiana, do check in. We are inside of a 10,000 square foot building owned by Eclectic Finds by Art Deco Girl at 888 Old Spanish Trail. We are open Wednesday through Sunday from 11 to 6. We would appreciate you popping in. And if you pop in and I'm here working in my studio, do come back and check them out back here and look at what's being made. Bye-bye.